So hello, welcome back to part 3. Now where are we? We're in the church now. So I was walking with my girlfriend and my in-laws just outside Tampere in Finland, and we came across a really old sort of stone-built church, and I took a bunch of photos of the walls, which are basically the wall textures that you can see here, and that's what really gave me the idea for the church. And I wanted something that was kind of like a spooky Scooby-Doo kind of cobweb thing. I've actually been through here when I was testing, but there's a map in here and there's a cassette in here which I've already picked up. I was doing an audio check. So yeah, anyway, that was the idea of getting, you know, something nice and spooky with a mist on the floor and the cobwebs and stuff. So the numbers on the hymn board, they're actually multi-face pokes for head over heels. I think the Spectrum multi-face pokes. And this room doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't really, you know, it's just a really noddy push block thing. But the reason this is in here is the very first thing on Sadeki, which was the first commercial game that I worked on. And the very first thing that I did was implement this push block puzzle in Sadeki, and you basically had to move the coloured block onto the coloured squares and then the flames start. So this is really just there for a nod to Sadeki. But this was kind of interesting. I asked Paul for a ghost character. I wanted some NPCs in the game that would actually prove a bit of a threat. So I asked Paul for the ghost character, and the first thing I did was put him in the world, and I decided, you know, he was going to be this sort of thing that you would unlock. And that room was kind of like a complete accident, because I put him in and just made a really simple concrete texture for him, and then I kind of put the orbs in. So basically the idea is you'd have to collect a crystal, which we'll get to shortly. And when I put the light in, it just created this amazing sort of Scooby-Doo type shadow against the wall, which I really like. The older versions were slightly better because the light wasn't clipping through the back of his hands, which made the shadow bigger. But I really like the feel of this room. It was, I really felt like I was starting to get the kind of look and the tone and the lighting for the game right when I did this, and the screenshots went everywhere on the Screenshot Saturday. It really had quite a nice impact, and it made me feel quite good that I was actually on the right track. So that's probably my favourite room in the game, just for how it looks. The blue water's here just to kind of introduce you that not all water in the game is deadly. There was an old isometric game called Hydrofall on the Spectrum, and I really wanted to do something that was a little bit like a homage to that. It's a little incy-wincy spider here. The spider is a little bit annoying. I got it off of the asset store and it came with hardly any animation, so it doesn't really do the stuff that I wanted it to do, which is why I didn't use it all that much. So there's a little secret in here, push the books. You've probably seen it from the trailer video. There's another cassette. And we can use the jump box, get up onto the lever. So the thing with the spiders is they're scared of the light. Now I use the spiders really just to kind of reinforce that you've got the wand with the light. So this little section is just to try and say, look, they're scared of the light. It's kind of subtle, but you should sort of pick up on it as you play. So the ropes I thought would be really difficult to do, but they turned out to be quite easy in the end. I was kind of putting them off for ages. So this is the little swim section. So like I say, I was originally going to do like a Hydrofall thing in here. Now in Hydrofall you had to kind of collect all these pieces, and then you built something in the world that you could get out. And I was going to like have it so you had to collect a chain that was connected to a plug, pull the plug out and then drain it. But the water stuff, it didn't really end up being as much fun as I thought it would, so I took most of that stuff out. It's because the character's quite slow. It just feels like you're plodding around and everything's taking ages. So I kind of pulled back from that idea, but it was nice to sort of break it up. I have no idea. There's another secret up here. I'm going to stop showing you all the secrets soon, actually, because I think I've shown all of them so far. so I might stop showing you cassettes after the church. But yeah, it was nice to kind of break up this zone and have something different. I would have liked to have had the underwater section for the Nebulous kind of remake that's in the game, but I never really got that far. That was another thing that kind of got left behind. So the ropes can be a little bit tricky if you're on the joypad. The analog sticks make it, you know, much more difficult to get a precise direction. As you can hear, I'm playing on the keyboard, so I find D-pads actually a little bit better on a joypad because of that, because you always get decent direction. So any Ridley Scott film buffs will probably get what this is taking the mickey out of. You kind of see the swimming gets a little bit, it's a bit ponderous, but I didn't really want to make it fast. This was another room that I really liked the look of, just having the mist and stuff around the caskets was really cool. Now this room has caused no end of grief. There's so much code in the character controller just to stop these boxes from like pinging off into space if you're underneath them or jumping around. And I'm fairly sure you could still probably break this room if you tried. There's about 4 collision planes going up the room to stop things like literally bouncing out. Such a pain in the arse to get that to work, and it's stupid as well because it's just a really simple little thing. So yeah, there was a couple of reasons why I stopped doing the water. It was it didn't really work the way I wanted it to. He's kind of cute when he's swimming though. I had good fun animating that. It's always kind of bothered me that his hat pokes out a little bit as well. Get some breath so I don't die. There we go. So we're about to get the wand. This was another room I did quite early for the green light video. If you look at the carpet and if you check the borders of the carpet, you might recognise them off of an old Ultimate game, but that's one for the train spotters. There we go, we've got the wand. So when it spawns back in, the spawn sound effect being in key with the music was, I was going to say a fluke, but I just picked the right key first time. I'd actually done the spawn sound effect before the music came in. I was so happy when that came in and it was actually in tune, because I would have had to have redone the sound effect otherwise. So yeah, this door opens after you've collected the wand. The lights go on to highlight it, but a few people have kind of got a bit lost and missed that there. There's a few more of the spiders. There's a trick with the spiders as well. When they come running after you, all you need to do is just jump, and then they'll run away. Once you get a certain height above them, they kind of give up. So they shouldn't ever be that deadly. If they come after you and you're playing old school mode, just jump and you'll be fine. Like here's the place where they tend to. There you go, so you just jump. I'm not sure why I left the blood everywhere. This is quite a vicious church really when you look at it. There's blood stains and all sorts anyway. So I was trying to get across that the spiders were a bit evil. So there's another little secret in here because there's a shelf. And the gravestones, that's obviously the train spotter from your Sinclair. Pay your respects, give him a nod. And that's Rockford from Zap. Or was it Crash? One of the two. That just makes me laugh, basically, because the poor buggers are dead. I used to really admire the guy who did the art for the train spotter in Neil Sinclair. It was awesome. So cool, we got the wand. We're in the game now. So this is the simplest thing in the world, but I loved like it casting shadows and stuff across the rooms. Particularly in this zone, it looks really nice and spooky. And now the wand light fairies will appear. So yeah, that's a little bit sort of Zelda-ish, but my girlfriend asked me to put wings on them so they'd look cute, so I did, and that's kind of what made them look even more Zelda-y, because before they were the little blobs that were floating about. So obviously the lights scare off the spiders. Ding. Which, you know, that's just there just to make sure you get used to the fact that you have to turn the wand light on and off. Oh, someone's playing Lumo. Cool. Right, so the thing here is not to go this way because that leads you back out. You need to come down here. In. Pull the platform up. And then we're into the crystal maze. So literally the whole reason that you have to, there's 2 crystals on the statue and you have to pick up a statue, or sorry, have to pick up a crystal. It's just so I can do a crystal maze joke. So when I was like building the game, I didn't really go back and play any of the old 8-bit isometric games. I knew Head Over Heels pretty much from memory. And I'd seen the Equinox speed run when I was talking to Steve Pickford about it right at the start, so I kind of knew bits and bobs of that as well. But I did kind of start imagining for a while that the game was more like, you know, game shows like the Crystal Maze or the adventure game, where there was just, you know, you got thrown into a room and there was this kind of puzzle or something that you had to kind of do. And it did sort of feel to me a little bit more like that TV show for a while, which is kind of where this stupid joke comes from. So I actually went back and started watching a few Crystal Mazes to see if there was anything cool that they had in the rooms that I could steal for the game. But I don't think I actually ended up stealing anything in the end. It's just funny watching them run around. So right, we'll pick up the crystal. And then it's probably, everyone probably finds this secret because it's at the end of the path. A little Crystal Maze reference, and then can you start the fans please? So that's supposed to be like the tickets at the end section of the Crystal Maze. You had to be there, I guess. It amuses me. So I was going to make the maze a lot more complicated originally, you know, kind of a bit more like a sort of Zelda thing with buttons and moving walls and stuff, but I know certain people with no spatial awareness would just get horribly lost in here, so I've just kind of simplified it because it's not really a core thing in the game. It's literally it's just there for one really bad joke and a secret. So. Scare off these spiders again. Damn particles flicking around everywhere. Bug. This was another room actually when I did it for Screenshot Saturday. This screenshot got sent all over the place. It's pretty with all the cobwebs, I do kind of like it. So, all we need to do now is head back to the statue. Put the little crystal in, and the door will open, and we can head out. So we let the ghost out now. So, yeah, little Lord of the Rings thing here, the Gandalf Bridge. That's the next collectible that you need. This bridge never really disintegrated the way I was kind of hoping. I should have probably cut up all of the parts rather than just let them sort of fall about. But, whee! So the ghost sort of mumbles as he's walking around following you, and it's actually me saying Amstrad Spectrum CPC Commodore 64 just reversed with loads of bass and stuff on. I think I might have said Atari ST smells of Wii as well, because I'm an Amiga fanboy. So this is the first of the mini-games. I would have preferred to have done something like Cuba here, but obviously you can't really mess around with old Atari games, so this is kind of the same sort of thing, but just a little spin on it. It's just a simple paint and floor thing. So if you can do this without dying, there's an extra achievement. I quite like this because it gets a bit tricky after a while. Achievement done. I was going to die again. I see it now. Yeah, so the letters that we're collecting in this little warp zone, they're obviously Bubble Bobble. You collected extent, I think you got extra lives in Bubble Bobble. They're literally the same colours, they're the same thing. And the mini games, most of them are hidden. You obviously fall into this just to introduce you to the world, or to this zone. And the idea I have with this one is like basically all the physical rules of the game can change in here. So the rooms will kind of form and they'll do different stuff. And it was Wayne that kind of suggested having the 70s Saturday Night Fever disco floor. So I put that in because it looked really cool. So those 3-inch discs, I had those with my CPC 6128, and I used to save the tape games onto them. So you'd have like one half of the game on one side and one half of the game on the other side, so it was a little sort of nod to my youth. And yeah, this library bit, you know, it's a Ghostbusters kind of joke. In fact, this is just meant to be the library out of Ghostbusters. It does the same thing here. You're right, Ray, no human being would stack books like that. I've watched way too much Ghostbusters. But it's the obvious thing to do once you've got a ghost loose about the place. So we'll just go back and we'll get the map in here. And there's a duck. Let's get the duck. Boing. The map. Ooh, another duck. There we go. I think I've missed a duck. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, I've missed a duck somewhere, I think. Starting to get a little bit more sort of platformy now. Things are definitely ramping up. I quite like this room. I would have really liked to have had more sort of difficult rooms like this, but even judging by the feedback now it's released, it's proved to be too difficult for quite a lot of people, so I'm glad I didn't really go further with it now. People wouldn't have been able to complete the game really. But these swings are a good laugh. I love his little animation with his little feet dangling about. So yeah, these floor bits react to the wand. Sorry, I should have introduced those a minute ago. They're actually going to be where all the secrets really for the end game kind of are. You need to use the wand really to uncover all the paths to... There'll either be shortcuts or there'll be secrets. There's another secret in there. Definitely going to... That's nearly half of them now. Yes, you need to really, you know, try and preserve the wand. Like, you can game it. It should recharge every time you start up a new game. So even if you do run out, there's a little exploit you can use. I've left that in purpose. But you know, stick it on everywhere. Have a poke around in the corners. You never really know where those little floor bits are going to be, and they'll probably take you somewhere good. It's the third pickup for our pieces. Run Come Follow Friday. Uncle Doug's on Rinse FM. Was listening to that loads whilst I was making the game, so that's one for all the RCFF family. Here we go. This is everyone's favourite room. This is really a tricky one if you're on a joypad. So again, I would recommend, you know, reverting to digital controls for this one. Oh, jump too far. If you get to the end and then jump over, there you go. So you don't need to swing too many times, which is what I did. I had a little bit too much momentum. And you just sort of catch it, but it's alright. This is a tricky one. The water doesn't help either, because you can't really see your drop shadow on the water. It is there, but it doesn't actually give you a lot of help. But there's a restart bit here, so once you're in that trigger and you die, you should be fine. You should just restart there, so I'm not completely evil, I'm just sort of semi-evil. And these are tricky with the perspectives, so, you know, try and use the sides of the rooms to your advantage. Same with this, use the duck to your advantage. So I tend to use the walls to just kind of, right, you know where you are if you're close to a wall. If you're in the middle because of the isometric view, it's just going to throw you off. But yeah, it's a little bugger, that one. I've definitely missed the duck as well. That was the last duck. Bloody hell. It's our friend the Love Box. So yeah, the illuminated floor bits, they don't work when the room is lit up by the normal door torches. They only work when you turn the lights off. So does that lever save it? I can show you better. Yeah, so now I've got the light on and the illuminated floor bits won't appear. So that's what this lever's for. Again, it's to try and re-emphasise this thing. So now they'll appear. And that's going to be the same in all the zones going forwards. You want to turn off the room lights and then wander around with the actual wand light and you'll find more of the secrets. And that was the church. Okay, so the next part, we're in the icy zone, which I'll do next week. Talk to you soon.